Hi everyone, welcome back to Learn Turkish the Easy Way channel. This is our next live session on the random topics in Turkish language, and today's topic will be adding can or iken suffix to verbs. This is just a continuation of the topic of the adverbial suffixes that are added to verbs to make adverbs. Okay, so which basically means that it is one of those, I don't know, 10 or 12 suffixes that we use to make adverbs out of verbs by adding them as a suffix to the in some cases to the verb roots, in some cases to the tense structures, depending on the use of that suffix. And today's suffix is can or iken. Okay, so let's go and see what we have as this as the notes for this class. Now, just before we start, I just have to remind that I have already covered this lesson in one of the previous random lessons, okay, live lessons in the same playlist as this one. There I had a couple of more explanations, but I also had some kind of had not expanded it very much. So in this lesson I a bit expanded to other tenses, which you will see in a while. That's why if you can also watch that video too. It's also helpful. But today it's a bit of expansion of that video. Okay, expansion because of the specific of the tense structures that are explained as an addition element, which was not covered in the previous lesson. Okay, so let's go to our work pad. Just a reminder, if you're still not a member of this channel, you can join, subscribe and turn on notifications. I also encourage you to subscribe to this Telegram channel, where I let subscribers know in advance about the upcoming classes. You can also discuss there if you have some questions, whatever. I already opened that channel as a group for discussion, so you can also comment over there. It was not previously available. It was only for broadcasting purposes, but now you can also comment or ask anything if you like, discuss with the other members. And lastly, if you like these videos, I appreciate your like button. Your likes to these videos. Okay. So let me bring the rules, right, notes about this can. So what is can suffix all about? We add can suffix to verbs to describe the time of the action. So it's again a time adverb. Okay, it is the adverb or a suffix that makes an adverb related to time. Okay, it is the short and combined form of iken. Okay, so short because the full is iken. Okay, iken is made of the complementary verb imek, and if you ask what is imek, imek is actually we already have a verb to be as olmak, right? To become, to be, olmak in Turkish language. But in the cases where you, for example, talk about the verb to be in the past tense, right? İdi, right? For example, babam hastaydı. My dad was sick, right? You don't say babam hasta olmuştu, right? Olmak is not used there. We use this imek, idi. So idi, imiş, ise are three forms of this imek verb. So sometimes it is considered to be, in specific places, it is just a replacement of verb to be in English. Okay, so imek is something very kind. You see, it's not kind of an independent verb. It becomes just a meaningful with specific cases, right? Like verb to be cases and so on. But the expansion of this, right, is one of the expansions. One of the uses of this imek is this iken. Okay, this iken is made of imek. Okay, so you see what is happening here actually is that we add this e is stable, right? This e only is stable. We add this can that makes the meaning of time. Okay, so if you really think about imek verb, and remember all Turkish verbs end in mak or mek, right? So basically the root here is just one letter e. Okay, imek is composed of just one letter as a root, and mek here is just the infinitive form of that. Okay, like bulmak, right? Gitmek, vermek, görmek. So mak part, the last three letters are always infinitive. So if you throw away that mek over here, you are left with the root of just one letter, which is e. Okay. So therefore, iken is can added to e. Okay. It's the can ending or suffix added to the root of the verb e, which is basically verb to be. Okay. Iken. That's how you have to look at this. It's kind of a bit of etymology behind the what is it all about, okay? But in Turkish language, when we talk about this iken, we usually don't use it kind of separately, okay? Even if you can see also these cases, okay? That's why I underlined both of these words, short and combined. So the short version of iken is can suffix, okay, which is combined with the verbs. So you have to short it to make it short. So you delete e part and you also combine it with the verb, okay. So that's how you make it short and combined. It is transformed from iken to can suffix, okay. Iken is a separate word, it's not a suffix. Be careful here. Iken is a separate word, same as imiş, idi, ise, okay? Let me just write them here as well. So, idi, imiş, ise. These are the three other forms, right? Well-known forms of iken. So, sorry, of imek, okay? Made of imek. These three are made of imek, okay? So, and they are separate words, okay? İdi, imiş, ise, they are separate words. They are always written separately. But when you combine them, they become part of the verb, okay? So, same as these three, iken is also a separate word. So, when you combine it and make it as a part of the verb, it becomes a suffix like can, okay? So, iken is transformed into can as a suffix. While iken is a separate word, can is a suffix added to the verbs, okay? Of course, after we delete the letter e, okay? That's what we have. Merhaba, merhaba she, merhaba Ujin, good afternoon. Didn't break anything? No, nothing. Can you hear me, by the way? Can you hear me clearly? Just to confirm that you hear me clearly and the screen is clear. Before I continue. Everything is clear, right? Okay, good. Thank you for confirming, Ujin. So, let's just continue. So, where did we stop? So, iken, right? Can suffix, therefore, is a short and combined form of iken, okay? That we add as a suffix to the verbs. What does it mean? It usually defines a process and has a meaning of while, okay? A very broad meaning of while. Usually it is 90% of the cases it is while, okay? Same as while something is happening, while something is done, right? While something is being done. So I can't think of examples where it might be different, but it is usually, it means while, okay? While something is still continuing. While something is still in a specific case, in specific condition. So that's basically what it means. While going, while doing, while having gone, while being about to do something, okay? So it's all while, can. Hi Susan, merhaba. Good. Duyuyorsanız bir sorun yok o zaman. Harika. So, now, what about iken? Overall, and another note which is very important, not this one, this note is very important that I highlighted. It can be added to different tense structures. In my previous video on this suffix iken, I didn't talk about the different tense structures, okay? I only talk about the present tense in general, which was usually, the meaning of that was what? While going, while sleeping, while doing, and so on, okay? So, when we add this to present tense structure, it just means the regular English word way of saying while gerund, okay, while doing something. So today we will see the examples of the different tense structures, okay, not only present but also future and the reported past tense and the past tense, okay. The next note is that the person is determined by the main action verb, okay, whatever is the action verb, main action verb, we usually try to understand the person from there, okay. It can be tied, it can be not tied, but it can be you doing something, or it can be some third person, but it doesn't matter. We still look for some kind of a person from the main action verb, okay, if there is any. The next note is that we can use it negative too, okay, but don't forget, ma is a very general form of the negativity, right? It can be maz depending on the present tense. If it's present tense, it will be maz, right? It can be also getting with the buffer letter like ma, ye, right? Me, ye, depending on, again, cases. So, but I put it broadly here, okay? So you can still make it negative too, and then still add this can suffix to the verb, okay? So you can make the verb negative and then add this can, which is still okay. Now look at these examples below, which I already mentioned here, okay? This is look at this line and look at the examples here. So we have 4 verbs here: bilmek, bitmek, bulmak, and söylemek, okay? So the regular format of this is what? If this is the present tense, right? The first line is the present tense. The present tense of bilmek is bilir, and you see it is right now, it is separate. So iken is a separate word, bilir iken is the official way of it, okay, or the kind of the formal structure of this. And when we combine, we make it bilirken, okay. You see, we throw away this e over here, right? That e letter is gone, and we are left with suffix can only. So bilir iken becomes bilirken, and the meaning will be while know, right? While knowing whoever that person is. We don't know who that person is, and then therefore we have this space right here. So we have to find that person from the sentence. It will be implied in the sentence who that person is. So bilirken, you see, it is a present tense added, getting what? Getting the suffix can. Bilirken. For example, ben bunu bilirken, while I know it, right? While I was knowing it, while I knew it, depending on the tense, what is coming after that part. So the main action verb will tell me, okay? Ben bunu bilirken, which means while I, right? We start like that. And the tense will come from the action verb. While I knew, while I was knowing, while I know, and so on. But here you see bilir already is a present tense. Therefore, you can translate as a while knowing or while know. Somebody knows or know, okay? The second example is bitmiş. This is a reported past tense, okay? Reported past tense, bitmiş iken becomes bitmişken. Again, we throw away e and we add the suffix can, okay? Bitmişken, while something has ended, while having been done, for example, okay? While something has been already done, while having something completed. That's basically how you can use this in different meanings, okay? Bir şey bitmişken, for example, film bitmişken kaçalım, okay? While the movie is over already, let's kind of flee, okay? Let's go. So film bitmişken çıkalım. Or, for example, you can say what else? For example, you can say insanlar gelmemişken, okay? That's an example of negative, by the way, right? İnsanlar gelmişken değil, but gelmemişken, while nobody has come yet, okay? That's exactly when you can use this bitmiş as a tense, okay? Reported past tense, bitmişken. While ended, while something has ended, whatever. I'll give a couple of more examples in the further page, but just for now, let's keep it like this. The third word is bulmak, to find, and here I use the future tense, okay? Future tense. Bulacak iken, okay? Bulacak iken. Here again we throw away e and we combine the suffix can. Bulacakken. While somebody was going to do something, okay? While something was going to happen, somebody, for example, interfered, okay? For example, ben onu bulacakken başkası buldu. Okay, while I was going to find it, somebody else found it. Okay. Or seni görecekken göremedim. While I was going to see you, I couldn't see you. Okay. So you see, this is the future tense now getting the can, and again the meaning is while. Okay. While something was going to happen, while something was going to somebody was going to do something. Okay. That's an example of the future tense getting the can suffix. So Ujin says, so there is no bittiken. No. I have no. There is no such thing as bittiken. Never. Okay. You only have bitmişken. Bittiken. Well, in practice, I don't know. It's a good question, but bittiken, even if you have it, it should be with the fusion letter yeah. Okay, bittiken, but no, we usually say bitmişken, okay, not gittiken or bittiken, okay. It is, yes, it is the reported past tense ending. O gitmişken, okay. O gittiken is something very abnormal. You will not hear, I mean, that thing. Okay, let me think of whether I have heard it in my life at all. Bitmişken, verdiyken, gördüyken. Doesn't sound good to me. Okay. No, although is not used. Although is not used. Okay. Bitmiş iken. Okay. Okay. Bitmiş iken. That's how we use while something having done. Okay. But yapmış iken, for example, you can say ödevi yapmışken çay içelim. While you have done your homework, okay, while the process is what? While the condition is that you have already finished your homework, let's have tea, okay, let's drink tea. Ödevin bitmişken bunu yapalım, okay. Okay, let's now look at the fourth example, söylemek, right, it is to say, and söylüyor iken is the present continuous. Now you see, present continuous added, getting the suffix ken. Söylüyorken. It is very similar to the present tense, bilirken or biliyorken, okay? You can say bilirken or biliyorken. There are very different, there are very kind of nuanced differences, very small differences where they will be used in different cases, but usually it is the present tense, okay? It is very rare where you really would attempt to use present continuous tense adding can, okay, but it's still possible, okay. It's not kind of a very rare. 20-30% can still be used as söylüyor iken, veriyor iken, biliyor iken, okay, but in most other cases you would use present tense, okay, bilir iken, if you want to say while doing, while going, while playing, and so on, okay, not present continuous but present tense. So the verbs don't change according to the person. Now, again, yeah, we don't have anything here as a person, okay? There is no personal ending in the structure, okay, that I highlight. When you have this can added to the verbs, okay, pay attention to one thing. This bilir, bitmiş, okay, bulacak, and söylüyor, to which we add this can suffix, they are all in the third person singular, you see? In Turkish language, third person singular is always the base. Okay, always the base for many things. So same is here. Bilir is the third person singular, okay? Bitmiş is the third person singular. Bulacak is the third person singular, and söylüyor is the third person singular. But it's not, it doesn't mean that it's he or she. It's just the structure is that way, okay? As a base, we get the third person singular, and then we add that can, okay? Whatever the tense is, okay? Whatever the tense is, it doesn't matter. You first get the third person singular as a base, and then add the can suffix to that part, okay? And it doesn't mean, again, it doesn't mean he or she. It just is the structure is that way. That's how we kind of make it, okay? But the real person meaning will come from the action verb. Whether it was I was, while I was doing, while they were playing, that they or I will come from the action verb. The real meaning of that kind of bilirken, bitmişken, whom it is relevant to, who that person is depends on the action verb. Okay, that is coming from the action verb. Now, one more thing before, so don't forget, this is the third person singular as a structure, okay? So you will always add a third person singular structure and then the can. And you don't have to think about anything else, okay? Just third person singular, what that is, plus the can, okay? So you can also think about the tense, different, right? Present, future, past, doesn't matter. But it is third person singular plus can. Now another note is that in practice and even in the writing, in the formal language, okay, you will rarely see this as separate, okay, written separately, even if they both mean the same thing, okay. Bilir iken is bilirken, okay, and you can find in writing sometimes that people write them separately, but in reality, in most cases, in 95% cases, they are always combined, okay. You throw away e from iken and make it a suffix, add it, combined to the verb, okay. We don't pronounce it separately. We don't write it separately, okay. Bilir iken is a very long way of writing it. Bitmiş iken is very long. Bulacak iken is very uncomfortable for pronunciation. Therefore, you will always use this second part, okay, combined versions. So bilir iken will be definitely bilirken. You will hear it as bilirken, okay. Bitmiş iken you will hear as bitmişken, and you will also use that way, okay. Never use them separately. That is not the case, okay. We don't use them separately. Only if specifically you want to separate them, you can separate them. And that's by the way, it's not an error, okay. There is no grammatical problem with that. It's not wrong to separate them. You can still in your sentence separate them. It's not a mistake, it's not something against the grammar. But in 95%, unless you really have to specify them separately and stress, right, maybe by intonation for certain specific purpose, you will never separate them, okay? You will just pronounce them together. Bilirken as a suffix, not as a separate word iken, but as a suffix. Bilirken, bitmişken, bulacakken, söylüyorken, görürken, yaparken, oynarken, verirken, and so on and so on, okay? They're always together. That's another note that you should not forget. Now let's look at examples. Let me bring the examples. The first one, let me zoom in a bit. The first one is şarkı söylerken bayıldı. Şarkı söylemek is to sing, okay. So şarkı söylerken, you have here, you see it's RR, it's the present tense, right? So I'm using just the present tense. Bayılmak is to faint, okay. So şarkı söylerken bayıldı. Who did that? Because bayıldı is he or she, right? We immediately say she fainted while singing. You see, here we don't necessarily have to specify as a person. While singing, it already refers to he, right? He or she. So that person is he or she, because bayıldı is he or she. He fainted. He or she fainted. Therefore, it was the he or she who fainted while singing. Okay. So şarkı söylemek is it's a compound verb composed of two words. So şarkı söyler, and you add. So you see, şarkı söyler is the third person singular, right? He or she şarkı söyler. Then you add the can. Şarkı söylerken becomes while singing. She fainted while singing. Şarkı söylerken bayıldı. If you make it bayıldılar, right? Then it will be they fainted. Okay, they fainted like this. So you see, just changing here lar makes them they now. Okay, şarkı söylerken bayıldılar. They fainted while singing. So let me undo this. Okay, and let's look at the second example. So resim yaparken eğleniyorum. Resim yapmak is a compound verb. Okay, it's composed of two words. So resim means picture, yapmak means to do. So doing picture, okay, that's basically what it means. Resim yapmak is to paint. So resim yapar again is the present tense, right? Yapar. it's the present tense ending er here, right? This one. Resim yapar. So this is the third person singular, resim yapar, he, she, right? O resim yapar. Then you add this can. Resim yaparken becomes while painting. Okay? Resim yaparken eğleniyorum. I have fun while painting, or I am having fun while painting, depending on the context. Both of them are possible. Alright, let's look at the third example then. I think it's clear. Let's look at the more complex ones. Now we have negative, okay? Now we have negative and we have bilmek verb, right? So bilir is, sen bilirken will be the positive, right? Affirmative way of saying that. But bilmez is the negative of the present tense. You probably, know already the negative of the present tense, right? Bilir, bilmez. Yapar, yapmaz. Gider, gitmez. Okay? Görür, görmez. So it's now negative of the present tense, not the affirmative, but the negative. So I specifically made it capital. You don't write it in capital, of course, in Turkish language. I just, to distinguish it from the other parts, I made it capital. So the negative is mez here, right? Mazmez. Bil. So again, you see, it is the third person. Bilmez, the third person as a structure, as a base. Then you add can to that. Sen bilmezken onlar bildi. So what does it mean? While you didn't know about something, okay, they knew. So sen bilmezken, which means basically bilmez iken, right? Combine bilmezken. They knew while you didn't know. In practical kind of a sense, it means it's kind of the case where you negate two conditions, right? You compare somebody against somebody. You say they knew as opposed to you not knowing. Okay, they knew despite you not knowing. Okay, that's basically what it means. Sen bilmezken onlar bildi. So you see, onlar here is they. Bildi, they knew. So this part, onlar bildi, is completely second structure of the sentence. And sen bilmezken means while you didn't know. Okay. So why do we say didn't know while we don't have tense here? Because the tense comes from the action verb, main action verb, which is onlar bildi. Okay. You see, bildi is in the past tense. That is why we translate this sen bilmezken as while you didn't know, not while you don't know, which is also, by the way, okay. You can also say while you don't know, they knew it. Okay. You can also translate that way, but usually you see you look at the main action verb here, knew, right, which is bildi. Therefore, it probably will be better to translate as while you didn't know, they knew. Okay. Bilmezken, sen bilmezken onlar bildi. Let me see, there are notes here. Eugene says first sentence, would structure also possible. She would fainted while singing. She would have fainted, or how? Can you give me an example of what do you mean in English? For example, she would have fainted, or if you like a prediction. Well, a prediction will be, if you want to say it would faint, then you work on the bayıldı part, not the other part, okay, not söylerken part, because şarkı söylerken that will be still same, okay, while singing, then it will be bayılırdı, okay, bayılırdı, would have faint, okay, bayılırdı, not bayıldı, but bayılırdı, then it will be the past of the present tense, which is, by the way, we covered already in one of the classes, okay. But again, would have faint, it's this part, okay. You work on the faint part, not the previous part, okay. Şarkı söyle, not the previous, because şarkı söylerken is stable. Don't play with that. But you can play with the verb, yes. He, she would have fainted while singing, okay. But I'm just kind of cutting it out of the context, okay. There is no context right now, but yes, it is possible. You can say it that way, but you have to work on the bayıldı part, not the previous part, okay, not the şarkı söylerken part. It is all about the bayıldı verb. Okay, let me undo that. So you see, always here söyler, right, yapar, and bilmez. As a base, we use the third person singular, okay. And again, the tense, the real tense comes from the main action verb. That's why here we translated at while you didn't know, they knew. Okay, that's the more appropriate translation because we know the main action verb as a tense. Let's look at the fourth example. So these three examples, by the way, are the present tense. Okay, the first one is the present tense. Söylerken is the present tense. Second one is the present tense. Yaparken is the present tense, and bilmezken is still present tense but negative. Okay, that's the only difference. Let's look at another example where it's not the present tense. Biz uyurken gitmişler. Okay, gitmişler may have two meanings because reported past tense have two meanings, right? Usually two broad meanings. One is something that you learn afterwards or something that is reported to you. So if you learn something afterwards, notice something afterwards, they seem to have left while we were sleeping. Okay, that will be the meaning. If something is reported to you, you will say they reportedly left while we were sleeping. Okay, so don't pay attention to those differences, meanings about the leaving. Focus on the uyurken. Okay, uyurken, you see, biz uyurken. You already specify we, right? Biz uyurken, because if you don't specify, you don't know who while sleeping who. Okay, you have to specify who. It is us while we were sleeping. Okay, and you say gitmişler is reported past tense, therefore it's past tense, right? You say while we were sleeping, not are sleeping, not are going to sleep, right? It is were sleeping because gitmişler is the past tense, reported past tense. Therefore we translate as while we were sleeping. Biz uyurken gitmişler. It is gitmişler is the third person plural, right? They went, they left while we were sleeping. Biz uyurken, now this is again present tense. For uyurken it is, we have this present tense added to the present tense, okay? But here the past, now here the main action verb is the present, reported past tense. Okay. She used to faint while singing. She used to faint while singing. Şarkı söylerken bayılırdı. Yeah, that will be also she used to faint. Exactly. If you really want to make about the future, şarkı söylerken bayılır. Okay, that has two meanings. Either she would faint or she faints. Okay, in Turkish it will have two meanings, and that's also we covered in the present tense, right? In general, broad tense, present tense has two meanings, either present tense and in general in English, or would structure. Okay. For example, you can say her gün sabah 5'te kalkarım, right? I get up every day at 5. Her sabah or every morning I get up at 5, for example. Her sabah 5'te kalkarım, right? Uyanırım or wake up. So that is present tense. But you can also say beni dinlemezsen giderim. Okay, if you don't listen to me, I will go. Giderim. That is the where you can use would. Okay. So what we actually had bayılırdı, right, will be şarkı söylerken bayılırdı will be she used to faint actually. Let me correct that one. Bayılırdı. Okay. Şarkı söylerken bayılırdı. Eskiden, for example, right, in the past, whenever she was singing, she used to faint. Alright, gitmişler. So biz uyurken gitmişler. Fourth example. Let me go to the fifth example. Dışarı çıkmışken ekmek al. This is very often utilized, okay? This structure. Çıkmışken. Now we have what? Can added to the reported past tense as a structure. Okay? Reported past tense structure. So dışarı çıkmak is to go out. And out dışarı is out, by the way. Çıkmışken, it's a compound verb, but still you can also separate them, right? They are different words, two different words to go out. So dışarı çıkmışken ekmek al. What does it mean? In Turkish it means while you are already outside, right? While you have left the house already, while your having left is still continuing, right? That's basically meaning, kind of literal meaning. While your being outside is still present as a case condition by some bread. Okay. Dışarı çıkmışken ekmek al. Or you can say while you for example, while you are ironing your clothes, please iron mine too. Okay. ütülemişken, right? Kendi elbiselerini ütülemişken benimkilerini de ütüle. Tamam mı? Benimkileri de ütüle. So, you see, while you are already doing something, even if it is something about the, you see the present, reported past tense, it means something happening still, okay? So you are already out, okay? You have gone out, you're out. So that condition continues. Therefore, dışarı çıkmışken, while you are still out, while you still have left and not returned, right? Haven't returned yet. Buy some bread, okay? Okay, Susan says, seeing as you have gone out, but buy some bread. Yes, seeing as you have gone out. Something like that, yeah, exactly. There are many examples you can think about, okay? Dışarı çıkmışken, ödevi yapmışken gidelim, right? Ödevi yapmışken kaçalım. While you have done your homework, let's flee, okay? Let's run away. And so on. So it's something that happened but continues, okay? It's the same as a present perfect tense in English language. Something happened but still the impact of that continues, okay? That's basically what it means. Let's look at the sixth example. This is, by the way, I have the last example. Kimse henüz uyanmamışken, and that's the negative of the reported past tense now, okay? Kimse henüz uyanmamışken gidelim. So henüz is yet, kimse means nobody. We have two negatives here in the sentence, which is not necessarily translatable into English that way. So this somebody is not necessarily kimse, but still I have to translate because somebody not. We have kind of two negatives here. So it basically means let's go while nobody has woken up yet, or let's go while somebody has not woken up yet. Okay, that's the regular one way of saying that, because in English we don't have two negatives, right? You cannot, for example, say while nobody has not woken up yet, right? That's why we say the first one is right, while nobody has woken up yet. Now you see, uyanmamışken. Uyanmışken is the affirmative of the reported past tense structure here, right? Uyanmış, uyanmamış, and then you add can here. Okay. Kimse henüz uyanmamışken gidelim. Let's go while nobody has woken up yet. You see, nobody hasn't woken up yet. That condition continues. So nobody has woken up yet, and that condition continues. Therefore, you say henüz kimse uyanmamışken gidelim, or kimse henüz uyanmamışken gidelim. There's a question by she, but can I mean just when you are out, buy some bread? Yes, you can also say dışarıdayken. Now dışarıdayken is kind of a broad, okay? You can say dışarıdayken ekmek al. Okay? It means while you are out, buy some bread. But it means, you know, it has a bit different flavor, okay? While you are out, dışarıdayken, okay, how to translate this one? It's different, okay? It's definitely different meaning, but I don't know how to translate it. Dışarıdayken ekmek al. So it means basically when you're not inside but outside, buy it, okay? Dışarıda means a bit outside rather than out, okay? That is not necessarily the full meaning that you want to get. Dışarıdayken ekmek al. It means while you're outside of specific maybe space or place or room or the house, okay? Buy. Dışarıdayken also means that you're out. Yes, you went, for example, with your friends somewhere, right? Dışarıdayken, you can say, for example, dışarıdayken yemek yiyelim. Okay, dışarıdayken yemek yiyelim. Not içerideyken, but dışarıdayken. Okay. You can even say dışarıda olmuşken, right? For olmuşken, for example, it's still possible. You can add this can to so many structures, okay? Olmuşken, gitmişken, yapacakken, görüyorken, verirken, yapmayacakken, for example, right? Or you can say even the negative of the future tense, right? Bunu yapmayacakken, while I was not going to do it, right? Let me write it. Okay. Or let me just give you an example. Seventh. Bunu yapma. Let's make it capital. Yapmayacakken. Okay. Yaptım. While I was not going to do it, I did it. Okay. Bunu yapmayacakken, you see, this is negative. Yapacakken is the affirmative. Bunu yapacakken yapmadım. That will be, I didn't do it while I was going to do it. Okay. So bunu yapmayacakken yaptım will be I did it while I was not going to do it. Okay. Not going to do it. Or the reverse of this will be, let me just copy it. Bunu yapacakken, okay, yapacakken yapmadım. Yapmadım. Bunu yapacakken yapmadım. I didn't do it while I was going to do it. Okay, so now it's different. Let me just correct this typos. Okay, so bunu yapmayacakken yaptım. I did it while I was not going to do it. Bunu yapacakken yapmadım. I didn't do it while I was going to do it. Okay. Let me go now one step further. You can also use it for var and yok. Okay, var and yok, which is kind of a. Let me give it this sentence. Ben yokken ne yaptın? Ben yokken ne yaptın? Which means what? What did you do in my absence? What did you do while I did not exist? Okay, basically that's what it means. While I was not here, while I was not present. I was not present. Or the better translation would be, what did you do in my absence? Okay, what did you do in my absence? So ben yokken ne yaptın? Okay. You can also say the positive, affirmative for var, right? Param varken yatırım yaptım. Yatırım yapmak is to invest, okay? Param varken I invested. My N letter on the keyboard is problematic. I invested while having money, okay? Or you can say while having money, I invested. Param varken, you say var. Now you add the can to the var here and yok. Okay. Param varken yatırım yaptım. Ben yokken ne yaptın? What did you do while I was not present in my absence? Ben yokken, ben burada değilken. Yes, good, but we don't say, okay? We almost never say ben burada değilken. Usually we say ben yokken. Ben burada değilken is not practically used very much. Which is still kind of the different way of saying that, yes, ben burada değilken, ben burada yokken. Okay, is more practical. Ben yokken. Let me also give you more examples. Okay. Okay. Gelirken ekmek al. Okay, many of you hear this in practical life, right? Gelirken ekmek al. Buy some bread while coming. Some bread while coming. Of course, home, right? Eve gelirken. You can say eve gelirken. You can add this one as well. Eve gelirken. Right, dative case of ev. Eve gelirken ekmek while coming home. Eve gelirken ekmek al. See, it's present tense added can. Buy some bread while coming home. I don't know. You can also use this with the, by the way, another note. You can also use this with the case endings, okay? Evdeyken ne yapıyorsun? Ne yaptın? Evdeyken ne yapıyorsun, for example? What do you do? Or are you doing, right? while at home, or while being at home, or while being home. Okay, while at home or while being home. You see, evdeyken, evde is at home, right? It means at home. And you combine this can with this structure, okay? While at home. This is the translation, while at home, okay? Evde iken, you combine, now you have, you throw away e, but you get here the fusion letter ye. That's how we don't say evdeken, okay? Evdeken is not correct. You don't say, again, let me just note it, it's important to note. We don't say evdeken, okay? Even if there is no two vowels. Okay? Evdeken is wrong. We say evdeyken. Why? Because you connect iken. And iken it's better to say iken, okay? Evdeyken. Not evdeken, but evdeyken, even if there are no two vowels for this fusion letter, okay? That's how we combine can if there is a vowel before can, okay? You add this fusion letter ye if there is a vowel at the end of the structure. Evdeyken. Evdeyken ne yapıyorsun? Okay, what do you do while at home? I hope it's clear, right? It's very broad use, okay? Or you can, let me give you another example, which is very kind of a good one. 12, right? This is 11 example, 11th example. I numbered them for your reference so that whenever you say something, you know the number to say, to mention. So, çocukken yakışıklıydım. Okay. I was handsome when I was a child. Okay, while being a child. Okay, basically that's what's mean. When I was a child, while my childhood. That is kind of the literal translation. During my childhood, okay? Çocukken yakışıklıydım. Sorry, let me correct this one, typo. Yakışıklıydım, okay? So this is the fusion letter here, another one. You see, yakışıklıydım is the fusion letter of idim, okay? That's idim too. That's also iken, idim, right? You add ye before this if there is a vowel. So çocukken means child, can means while. While being a child, and is it a present or past tense? It's a past tense because you talk about dım, right? You say yakışıklıydım, idim. Yakışıklı idim means or becomes yakışıklıydım, okay? Actually, the real structure of the sentence is like this. Let me just show you the real structure of this. Çocuk iken, okay, yakışıklı idim. This is the real structure of the sentence, okay? Çocuk iken yakışıklıydım. That is the real structure. So you combine idim here and iken here. And again, don't forget, remember here I told you it is iken, imek, right? Becomes idi, imiş, ise. Same as iken, okay? So there are four things, right? Iken is another structure of imek. Same as idi, imiş, ise. So here we have both of them. We have iken and idim. You combine them, okay? You don't keep them separate. Therefore you say çocukken yakışıklıydım. Here we don't have a fusion letter. Here we have a fusion letter, yeah. Because there is vowel before idim, okay? Çocuk iken yakışıklıydım. Let me give you an example of one. This lesson has become almost 50 minutes, but it's important lesson, so I just prolong it as much as I can because more examples will give you more kind of a clarity about the use of it. Okay, let me use, okay. Uyurken horlar mısın? Okay, horlar mısın? Question. Do you snore? Horlar mısın? Do you snore while sleeping? Okay, this is normal, regular, same as in English. Okay, while sleeping, uyurken. Uyurken horlar mısın? Okay. Again, don't forget the most utilization of this is usually with the present tense. Okay, same as in English, to mean while doing something, while playing, while going, while giving, while seeing, while bringing, and so on. But you can also use it with the future structures. Okay, future tense structures, reported past tense structures. That is more kind of a rare than the present tense structures. Uyurken horlar mısın? Do you snore while sleeping? Okay. Let me give you the verb, another verb to be. Now we have verb to be with the adjective. Okay. Hastayken okula gitme. Okay. Don't go to school while being sick. Okay. Or when sick, when being sick, while being sick. Okay. So hasta here is adjective, right? Hasta means sick. Iken, you combine it. It ends in a vowel. Therefore, you have to add this fusion letter ye here. Hastayken, you combine it with ye. Hastayken, okula is the dative case, right? To school. Okula gitme. Don't go to school while being sick. Okay, and let me see. Okay, I think I'm done with the examples. Don't go to school when you are ill. Yes, when you are ill. I'm just trying to give this the while kind of a structure so that you don't forget about this while. Of course, the English translation will be much kind of a different one, right? Don't go to school when you are ill. I'm trying to give more kind of literal parts rather than the figurative meanings. So hastayken okula gitme, don't go to school while being sick or when you are ill. So you see, when you say when you are ill, you already also add the person, right? The person, and it comes from where? From the action verb, right? Don't go to school, because you tell to somebody, to you, right? Don't go to school when you are ill. Don't go to school while being sick. So this can is all about while or when, depending on the English structure, right? But again, don't forget that it's all about the condition that still continues, okay? That is why we call it while, usually while rather than when. Alright, I think it should be clear, right? And any questions before I finish the video? I think it's already 15 minutes. Okay, Ujin has a question. The examples of and definition as part of a process are for Dutch speakers very useful. We do have a strict translation of while. Yeah, I don't know German very well. I studied German sometimes in the past, but yeah. You can also translate as during, right? During specific thing, or during, for example, meeting. Toplantıdayken konuşma. Okay, toplantıdayken konuşma. Don't speak during the meeting, right? While being in the meeting, when you are in the meeting. Yeah, but there are different kind of variations of translations. I'm not sure about kind of yeah, I guess you are not German, but you may be right, maybe knowing German, right? I studied German sometimes in the past. I studied French sometime in the past, depending on the conditions and requirements that I had in the past. I know a bit of them, but not fully. I don't know. I'm not the kind of advanced speaker, or even I'm not even intermediate level of those languages. Okay, thank you for joining. Thank you for contribution. By the way, today we had very much of contribution from your side. Thank you for that. Hope to see you in the next classes. Good, Ujin, good. The more languages we know, the better, right? The broader our world is, or worldview at least. Thank you for joining. Ben de teşekkür ederim. Bir sonraki derslerimizde görüşmek üzere arkadaşlar. Herkese iyi günler. İyi hafta diliyorum, right? This is Monday. Bugün pazartesi. Önümüzde uzun bir hafta var. So I wish you a nice productive week ahead. Have a nice day. Bye bye.